Good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News. Well, good morning and welcome to Unfiltered Vision News, bringing you the news unfiltered Monday through Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning, and let's get our morning started with honoring God with our body. And God, please guard our mind and our thoughts. God, help me to fix my thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. So I will think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. God, please protect our ears and help us listen to your voice. God, help me to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. God, please protect our eyes from sin's damage. God, I make a covenant with my eyes not to look lustfully. God, please speak life over our mouths. God, set a guard over my mouth. Lord, keep watch over the doors of my lips. God, please help our hands to serve generously. God, help me to do good to everyone, and especially to those who belong to our family in the faith. God, please protect our reproductive organs and help us to honor you with purity. God, help me to honor you with my body. And God, please protect our feet as we walk along your path. God, let your word be a lamp for my feet and a light on my path. And so that is something that we say here daily on Unfiltered Vision News. So again, I want to welcome you guys. Sorry, my voice is kind of ugh. But we are, we're 2 days away from celebrating 250 years. I know a lot of people are just like, oh, America. They get upset. Or some people are like, yes, this is our country. But we don't idolize the country. We need to remember to be grateful that we do have a country. Is it perfect? Absolutely not, because it's run by imperfect people. But we always have the opportunity to make it better. But that takes people getting up off the couch. Okay. Now, with that, let's start in with our topics on X. So, the House unanimously passes a resolution for taxpayer funded misconduct settlements disclosure. Now, a lot of you might say, what is that even about? Well, on June 30th, the House passed Resolution 1399, sponsored by Representative Thomas Massey, and he's a Republican in Kentucky, with a 420 to 0 vote. So nobody voted against it, right? Directing the Office of Congressional Workplace Rights and House Ethics Committee to publicly list settlements involving members since 1995. Interesting. We're going to go back 30 years. Okay. Including names and amounts paid with victim identities protected. Okay. The resolution revives scrutiny of past cases like the 17 million in 268 settlements from 1997 to 2018 amid post 2018 reforms that ended direct taxpayer funding. So Democrats and Republicans alike supported transparency during brief debate, though Representative Nancy Mace called it somewhat redundant after her earlier disclosures of 300,000 in pre 2018 cases. So this goes back to them doing things, but using our taxpayer dollars to basically pay people hush money not to say anything about their misdeeds and misconduct. Oh, they've done some trash in Congress. Some things have happened that shouldn't have happened. So, take a look because the victims' names have been redacted, but we can see, how they were mismanaging our money. Always cracks me up. They're like, we have the power of the purse. You don't have the power over anything. You were allowed to be here by the voters. You have no sway. You're servants. Stop that. Okay, so again, the Feeding Our Future guy, he got arrested. Should be. And I'm looking forward to everybody going to jail. It's interesting how the one lady, Amy, I think her name was Amy Bach, she went down for a lot of this. A lot of it. Now, Alyssa Thomas suspended after throat contact on Caitlin Clark sparks WNBA tensions. Yeah, a lot of the, I want to say the superstars of the WNBA and even in the NBA, they do take some hard fouls. They do. I don't know why that's a thing in both of those sporting franchises. It is, and it needs to stop. And players need to, be held more accountable across the board because guess what? It happened to Cheryl Swoops. It happened to Lisa Leslie. It happened to all of them. It happened to Shaquille O'Neal. It happened to, Kobe Bryant. It happens to all of them. If you followed sports, okay, go back to the 70s. Y'all are just, and I'm not saying that it's right at all. There should never be flagrant fouls. They're supposed to get better by college. So by the time they get to the NBA or the WNBA, they're better players. But we got this nonsense. Stop that. Just knock it off. And good morning to everybody who is joining us here on the show. Now we're going to get into a little bit of the topics on all sides. So the USMCA trade deal faces uncertainty after Trump refuses to renew the agreement. So that's going to be interesting. So this is the US, Mexico, and Canada. Okay. Because we don't have to trade with you. You don't have to trade with us. But where is they going to leave us? Prices are going to fluctuate. Okay. So the Supreme Court allows states to ban transgender athletes from women's sports, which is good, but now it's a state's issue. It's not so much mandate, right? Because here's the deal. The Supreme Court can't mandate anything, but Congress can. Now, can Congress turn around and say, okay, this is federal law. None of you are allowed to put men in women's sports, period. And if you do, it's a crime. They could totally do that. They could, but we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So is your student loan situation about to change for some people? Hopefully it will. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Sensorel. Let's see. Lakina, I don't want to mispronounce these these individuals joining me. And Manus Pollock, Etheria. If I butchered it, I do apologize. But thank you guys for joining me this morning. So the Education Department cuts loan eligibility for college degree programs yielding low earning jobs. Okay, because see, people can still, get Pell Grants or get loans on their own, but they can't get necessarily the loans that are federal government loans, because they're two different things. So, of course, the birthright citizenship, it sparks a debate over constitutional authority. I'm glad that the conversation has started because for the most part, in my opinion, like I told you guys the other day, this really kicks down the door for those who abused, right, that system, saying, okay, if you're here, you have a baby, that baby's a citizen. Well, what they need to do is take away the incentivization of that. So that means no more chain migration. They should just end that period. I don't even know why that's even a thing with anything, with H-1B visas, anything. If you are over here on a visa, it's you. Well, I want to bring my wife over. Well, she can't come over. She's going to have to become a naturalized citizen through the process. Well, what if she can't come over? Then you're just going to have to figure something out. Not my fault, not my problem. This has nothing to do with me. And that's how it has to be. Period. Citizenship in this country is a privilege. It is not a right. Period. For anybody. Except for the descendants of slaves, because that's who it was written for. That 14th Amendment, that wonderful amendment. Okay. Now, let's get into our first video. Now, I'm not going to play the whole video because it's a little bit long, but the beginning of the video actually sums up what's happening.
It's the fourth time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities. And there's many other things that we could be doing other than this. I get so upset when with your butts, and you don't want to talk about this. This is the fourth hearing. Do you know what I'm thankful for? And this is so messed up, I'm gonna say it. You know what I'm thankful for? I'm thankful that my daughter was just shot in the back of the head, not raped, murdered, dismembered. And you can actually dismiss the angel families. You can say, but you don't want to hear four sessions on angel families. I'm sorry, you need to. Anyone have a baby here? The joy of picking out their first outfit that they're gonna wear on their ride home from the hospital. I had to pick out my daughter's last outfit.
You used the term sorry early on when you answered that question. You never have to apologize. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. So the chairwoman of this committee, she really sat there and said, this is our fourth one. Like, you're so bothered. If you're so bothered, Japala, then leave Congress. Y'all need to vote her out in Michigan. I don't even know why this woman is even in the building. You need to go. The American people in Michigan need to stand up against that nonsense and vote her out. She's up for re-election this November. Get her out of there. Get her out. She is not there to serve the American people. She does not care. She was just like, we're here again. Ugh. Really? Okay. Now, the next one we're going to get into is the DHS secretary. And now this is in reference to the Haitian migrants that are under orders of deportation because TPS is ended. Look, TPS was only good for 18 months. How are you here over a decade on a program that gives you 18 months? It is because there are people protecting a status that does not have a pathway. But that didn't mean they couldn't apply for other statuses. And here's the deal. If you will try to apply for another status and you're denied, you're not going to get to naturalization unless you leave the country and then reapply to come back. Because something either happened while you were here, or there's just a situation where your citizenship is denied. Not everybody's accepted. It's really interesting to me. It's almost like we're entitled. No, you're not.
With the Supreme Court victory on TPS, are you going to be going after Haitians living in the country, Syrians living in the country? What's the path forward?
Well, I hate when it's phrased going after individuals. The fact is, TPS for certain individuals under the court ruling, they no longer have status. TPS was temporary. It was never meant to be permanent status. You had an opportunity while you were here to possibly try to change your status. Now that the court ruling has went out, you no longer have that option. You have to go back to a country that either take you or back to the country you came from. And if you deport yourself, which we will give you $2,600 plus a plane ticket to go home, You had the opportunity at that point to fill out it legally for a visa or another way to come back in this country, but you have to come in through our immigration systems and follow our laws, not illegally. But if we have to arrest you and deport you, that option of coming back in this country is off the table. So we would encourage everybody that fell underneath TPS, that is no longer temporary protected status for you, your time has expired. Go to our website, sign up for self-deportation. We'll help you get to the country that you came from, or get you to the country that are willing to accept you. Fill out the paperwork, and maybe you can come back and participate in the American dream.
You spoke about Mike Lawler. That's his big cause. He's got a lot of Haitians who live
Yes.
in the Hudson Valley. Have you spoken to him about this? And it's big for the healthcare community here in New York,
Right.
too.
Mike and I have spoken almost daily. In fact, I've already talked to him today about this. He's trying to figure out the path forward. As I told him, he needs to encourage all the Haitians that are still underneath TPS status, or was underneath TPS status, to self-deport so they can have the opportunity to come back. So we're trying to work out, possibly even attach somebody with his office to help process the self-deportation. And then once they get back into the country they're going to, either host country or the country that they originated from, to fill out that paperwork and streamline it.
Okay, so I have a question in the comments that says, what do you think? Basic human rights are more important than citizen rights. We all deserve clean water, healthy food, shelter, medicine, and free passage of travel. It's the brotherhood of mankind. Absolutely not. Men have always had borders since the beginning of time. Tribes had borders. People have always had borders. It is the responsibility of each country to provide that for their citizens. It is not upon one country to provide that to the world. Let me say that again. It is not upon one country to provide that to the world. The people that have been put into office by their people, right? Because not every country is a republic like we are here in the United States, where we think we're picking our leaders. Some of them are picked, but I'm just saying we get to choose who represents us in our counties, in our cities, in our states, in our federal government. A lot of countries aren't like that. They're communistic, and they dictate and they rule over their people. They do not care what their people want. That is not the responsibility of the United States. Nobody deserves passage anywhere. I can't just go to China. I got to get a visa. And guess what? My visa could be denied because they don't want me there. They're like, you know what? This is in your background. You can't come here. How does that work? Period. There has to be laws and rules. And when you start defiling the laws, and then you want that same country to protect you, really? Stop that. There has to be a standard, and there is, and it will be upheld in this country. You either respect the country or you don't. And if you don't, you can't be here. Period. Now let's get to our last video. And right here is Ben Carson. And he is talking about patriotism.
Also be facing a patriotism problem with our youngest generation.
Fox News polling shows 7 out of 10 voters do consider them patriotic, but only 53% say they're proud of the country today, and it's driven by a sharp generational divide. More than half of voters 45 and older say they're proud of the red, white, and blue. But that number drops below 50% among those under 45, with voters under 30 saying just 44% they're proud of this great nation.
Joining us now, former HUD Secretary, American Cornerstone Institute founder, and chairman and author of the new children's book, Built on Faith, Dr. Ben Carson. Well, Doctor, I have to tell you, this is a very exciting day for me because I've long been a fan of yours. You and I have something in common. We both struggled in grade school, and that's one thing that's amazing. So what's going on with young people today, and why are they not as patriotic as they should be?
Well, unfortunately, this has been planned, a planned destruction. You go back and look at the congressional record, January the 10th, 1963, Congressman Herlong of Florida read into the record the 45 goals of communism in America, one of which was to gain control of our schools and teacher unions so that you could indoctrinate the children, change the history. And have you noticed that people don't know very much of our history anymore? When you do those man on the street interviews and you ask the simplest questions, they have no idea what you're talking about. Well, those are people who are very easy to manipulate. And that's why it's so important that we know our history. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But there's a heck of a lot more good than there is ugly. And if people knew the good, they would be proud of the country. That's where patriotism comes from. But when it's not there, you see the results in a lot of our college students. They don't know very much, and they listen to the wrong people, and they head off in a direction that is destructive to their own future and the future of their children.
Dr. Carson, you really hit on it. Preparing for this segment, I looked up just a simple definition of patriotism, and it's a, kind of amorphous, it's a love and devotion to one's country. But you should love and be devoted to the foundational documents and principles of this country, because that's what makes it so exceptional. And it gets back to the history.
Absolutely.
I don't think people know what makes this nation, even to this day, such a standout. And that they would harness that Bill of Rights. And maybe if they didn't embrace the Second Amendment, they sure as heck would embrace the First, or, the religious freedom.
Absolutely. And to know that our country was the first and only country whose founding document says that our rights come from our Creator. That was a revolutionary governance ideal. And look where it did for us. We went from a ragtag bunch of militiamen who didn't even have boots to the pinnacle of the world in record time. It was not a coincidence. It was because of the values and principles that we embraced and that we passed on from generation to generation. And if we throw away those things, we will descend just as rapidly as we ascended. But it requires courage. You have to be willing to speak up. The mainstream wants to push God away. They want to push our faith away. They want to push the fact that we have a relationship with each other away and make you think that you're enemies because you may have a difference in opinion. What a bunch of crap. And if we allow ourselves to fall for it, we will be taking part in the destruction of our country. And what happens if the United States goes away? The world goes back to the way it used to be. Everybody fighting each other, trying to dominate each other. This has been an incredible stabilizing force for the world.
Dr. Carson, we all know that opportunity is the reason this is the greatest country in the world. What's one piece of advice you would give a young person today who may not feel as patriotic as we want them to?
I would say learn your history and start early. And parents, teach your children. That's why we wrote this book.
Yeah. And see, he makes a great point. Our document does say our rights come from our Creator, not government. Government is just supposed to be there to be a support system. They are not there to rule over anybody. Again, we elect people to say, hey, we consolidating, you represent us, you're our voice, right? Whether you're in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, Supreme Court, at the federal level, same thing at the state level, same thing at the county level, same thing at the city level. And we say, okay, we are entrusting you to ensure and make sure that you are being good stewards. But our rights come from God. We just need you to be good stewards to make sure that this doesn't fall apart, right? And as that question said, don't people have the right to these things? Their government needs to provide that for them. Your inalienable rights come from God, not government. God, not government. Let me say it again. God, not government. So you need to put people in office that understand that, respect that, and you as an individual, if you feel strongly about having water, clean water for you and your neighbor, you better do that because God's put that on your heart to do it. Right? Because I could say it's not government's responsibility to make sure you have clean water. It really isn't their responsibility. But you entrust people and you say, hey, we need you to make sure that there is a system of clean water put in place. And we, as the people, we're going to work with you to ensure that happens. There are freedoms that we have, the freedom to protect ourselves, right? It's very interesting when it comes back to rights, governance. You know, people say, well, people have the right to this. Okay. Then make it happen. That is your right. Leaning on other people, do what's right then and make it happen for you, your neighbor, others in your community. Yeah. We are free. Our government does not rule over us. Again, they are there to be a support system. In the United States, we are really unique. That's why everybody wants to come here because no one can really stop you, right? Once you're allowed here in the country legally, no one can stop you from getting an education. No one can stop you from having a job. No one can stop you from buying a house or buying a car or saying you have to drive a car that's a certain car or live in a place that's a certain place. No one dictates that to you here. You are free. That is why so many people try to come here. But when you come here with the mentality that, hey, government knows better than you, we know what's best for you, and we're going to do what's best for you, that's where the problem kicks in. And that's where it is right now. You have people calling themselves democratic socialists, and we're going to have free schools, and we're going to abolish ICE, and we're going to defund the police. So you're going to take away some of the forms of security that we have that actually are protections for citizens. How are you going to protect the citizens against murderers? Huh? Bueller, what's your plan? You don't have one. A social worker is not going to be able to convince somebody not to unalive somebody else because by the time they say one word, they'll be gone. What are we talking about? Yeah, rethink your question. And see, that comes from somebody who has not had to suffer anything. And they feel entitled to everything. You're not entitled to anything on this planet. Not a thing. Except for the air that God allows you to breathe. And that's still not an entitlement. That's a gift. Change your mindset. Be grateful that you have life and breath in your body and make a difference. Make a difference. If you want people to have clean water and support and all of those things that you mentioned in that question, then you get up off the couch and you make sure that you are in a position to help other people. Stop putting it off as if it's government's responsibility, because it really, really isn't. Trust me. I live in a rental right now that the water isn't that great. But you know what? I've got a gravity water filter so that I can have clean water. It's not the city's responsibility to make sure the water's clean. It's mine. So I have an apparatus to make sure that I have clean water. See how that works? So I want to thank you guys for joining me here on Unfiltered Vision News for this Mighty Men Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow for Prayer with Fridays. So remember, stay well, stay focused, and stay unfiltered. We'll see you in the next one.